Welcome back to Informed Sources. The Memphis Shelby County School Board recently approved a $1.8 billion budget for the next fiscal year. The budget cuts 1,100 positions in an effort to save money and restructures new positions to get faculty closer to the classroom. There was a lot of backlash when the cuts were originally proposed, and it's a task that Dr. Fagan says she did not take lightly.
I take this serious. You could take the $325K from me today and I'll show up tomorrow. Next is now. I am taking this with pride to bring before you the hardest decisions that have not been made in previous years before me.
The budget also places an emphasis on allocating money to improving school infrastructure, along with safety, student achievement, and talent management. You have so much on your plate. This is a really big to-do list here. I don't think there's anybody out there that really questions the motives here, because most look at the challenges that the district is facing, and they say, yes, change definitely needs to occur. What most the pushback, I think, has been is on the method. You were here for 3 months. You initiated a lot of change. Some of the people look at that change, they were maybe caught off guard. Some, when you look back at that, maybe at 2020, was that too much too soon?
No, I still stand by the decisions that were made. I stand by the timing of the same. I mean, I've been in the city since February. I've been officially on the job since April 1st, as a consultant March 1st. In terms of looking at this, I've reviewed this since serving as a candidate, taking a look at it, all of the information that is made available publicly, to kind of look at what I would be assuming, if selected as superintendent. And so while the timing perceptually seems a bit fast, a bit, like she pulled the Band-Aid off without regard to people, while it is understood, it is certainly not the case, right? And so looking line by line, reviewing every title, looking at the supports that are provided, looking at what folks do day to day, asking many of them, myself and then their directors and managers and senior leadership for sure, completed a rubric for every single position that I used. There were about 7 different items on there that I reviewed. Duplication of services, what is the contribution of this particular position or these positions to the budget right now? Is this a position that we need as we think about the vision moving forward? And then overall, Greg, is it a part of not just the vision, but does it produce outcomes for kids? And so many of these positions are connected to grants that are expiring. Others were connected to ESSER, which is, expiring as well. And then about 551 of those are vacancies. And so when we get down to the 400 plus that exist, some of those are third-year permit teachers who did not meet the criteria by the state. And then we get down to about 237 of truly impacted folks, and those folks were walking side by side in the journey to offer positions in the school or close to it. And then certainly there are a few central office positions as we reshift and reorganize that will come available that those individuals can seek. And so several of them, maybe just fewer than 60, held a certification that will allow them to go back into the classroom, so not very many. Right. Others could receive one of those non-instructional positions, but from the perception of the community, I understand this seems very, fast and quick and without thought, but certainly done with deep thought, with intentional thinking. I think for me it was about receiving the suggestions for who it should be, and I wanted to take the time to make sure it was a decision that I could own. And so as I learned that there were individuals who received those letters that I did not approve, then it required me to send out the email and share. If you receive this is what's happening, because at that point I did not know who had received it. And so I think as the leader of any organization, you own everything, and internally you work through the kinks. And so publicly I owned it all while addressing, internally some of those areas, those gaps. But I stand by those decisions.
Some complain, I received emails, I'm sure you have too, that the cuts fostered an environment of fear and anxiety. Some went so far as to say that there was an environment of bullying and intimidation and harassment. To those employees that felt disrespected in that moment, what do you say to them?
Yeah, and so I imagine some of those same employees emailed me even long before I started officially about bullying, about intimidation, about a general culture that exists that we need to, focus on strengthening. And so I don't own that culture in terms of those those tactics. I would say that most of employees believe that not only an open door, but an open email policy. Several have my personal cell phone number. They have my personal email address. I have received, hundreds of emails citing the same, and this is well before my arrival. And so while there are a lot of things I'll own, that I will not own. But what I do own is the attention that is necessary to culture and how we treat people and how we interact with one another. That is internally and certainly public facing as we think about our interactions and engagements with the community. That across the 9 districts of our Memphis-Shelby County Schools District was the #1 thing that I heard throughout my VIP tours, that along with communication. And so I own the way forward while acknowledging what existed when I assumed the role.
If some do question the method, no one is questioning your passion. You can see that in that clip that we played just a few moments ago. What were you thinking in that moment, saying, I'll forfeit my salary and get back to work the next day?
Absolutely. You keep the main thing the main thing. And for me, it's about the 115,000 that I've seen and those that I have not seen. I know what's at stake here. We have lives on the line, and they are depending on all of us to get it right and to get it right now. And so the discussions of that nature, I respect the board and understood their desire to learn more before making a decision. But what I plan to communicate then, if given the opportunity, because I plan to be silent, but when asked the question, why now and not 6 months from now, that just stirred up something in me that was, in the moment. We can't wait any longer than we've waited. I think that before I arrived here, they waited long enough. And if we keep on waiting to do the thing that we know is inevitable, one, and the things that are necessary, then who are we as leaders if we can't make the right decisions? And sometimes the tough decisions are the right decisions.
All right, we'll talk about where those decisions are leading, because when we come back, we're going to be talking about getting students back on track, what's being done to improve student performance, reduce truancy, and increase the chance for a brighter future for all of us. That's next on Informed Sources.